Hello people and welcome back to Talking Comics. This is technically a part 2 to an older video posted last June, I believe. Either way, it was for Pride Month. It was talking about LGBTQ comic characters. I just did it as a way to suggest people to check out those characters if they're interested, or if they might relate to them in some way, as it could be a good way to start reading comics. Anyway, I'm going to try and get onto the list of characters, but yeah. Tim Drake, aka the Third Robin, is probably the most detective-based one, at least when it comes to the other Robins that I know of. Basically, Tim found out Batman's identity, or at least figured out Robin's identity and then figured out Bruce's identity, and he wanted to be Robin, basically saying Batman needs a Robin, and this was after the death of Jason Todd, so Bruce was a lot more aggressive than he usually was because of the death that happened and was caused by the Joker. So Tim basically said Batman needs a Robin, with Tim gaining the mantle of Robin. Also, he trained himself in acrobats and martial arts beforehand. That was mostly because he was a fan of the Flying Graysons, aka Grayson being the first Robin, was also how he figured out that Grayson was Robin. I will say Tim Drake at the moment is in a tricky spot. Now this kinda happened because they introduced the character of Damian Wayne, aka the Fourth Robin and Bruce's biological son. Basically, it meant Tim couldn't be Robin anymore. So the problem became, what is he now? He was Red Robin for a while, and he was Drake, I believe. He kept changing hero name, and he overall had a much harder time moving away from the Robin mantle compared to a character like Grayson, who easily became Nightwing over the years. Tim's dated quite a lot of characters. There's been Spoiler, who's a part of the Bat family. There's, funny enough, he's also technically met with Jubilee from the X-Men when Marvel and DC crossovered, and they were technically kind of together. Was very weird, but also quite fun. But right now he's dating a character called Bernard. That's also when he was said to be bisexual. Right now that's seemingly going to be staying. I don't think they're going to break up, at least. Overall, Tim Drake is a very good character and a very good Robin, who's sadly been pushed to his side a bit lately. He does have good stories out there. Recent appearances, I can't think of anything really big he's done lately. Was annoying. He is in Fortnite though, but then again, everyone's in Fortnite. Dreamer is a very fun character. She's half alien and half human, with her main powers relating to dreaming, basically allowing her to go into people's dreams and even teleport to places by doing that. She also has your kind of standard energy blasts and shield protection, but she also has a precognitive ability, basically meaning she can foresee future events slightly. Dreamer technically was originally a character for TV. She first appeared in the live-action Supergirl TV show, but then was later adapted as a comic character. I've not seen the live-action show, so I can't tell you how different her character is in that. I do know the actress that plays Dreamer also writes her character, so I feel like they're probably very similar to each other, at least, but I could be wrong about that. Her character could be very different. Right now, Dreamer is a part of a sort of team. I say sort of team because the team is very messy and they can't all hate each other. But right now, she's been in the comic series Secret Sex, what has been, in my opinion, a very good comic series, and personally, if you're wanting to read her character, I very much suggest checking out that comic. Or if you really want, you can look for her first appearances and all that. They're probably not that hard to find compared to some older comic characters, but Secret Sex has been really good. Oh, also she's in Fortnite, cause like I said, everyone's in Fortnite for some reason. Loki, what is for the most part a very well-known character cause of the films. Also, Loki's an actual mythological character, but in the comics, Loki is gender fluid, with them kind of constantly switching genders at times. It kind of matters how they feel. And I don't really have to say much about how Loki's a very fun character. They're very fun, they're very much a villain at times, but they can be a good person and has helped Thor and other characters while still being technically a villain at times. Right now, Loki is the god of stories. This is technically based more off of actual Norse mythology, because even though it's stated Loki is the god of mischief by many people, there is a slight debatability on that, with kind of more hints at Loki being the god of another aspect, so the idea of Loki being a god of stories kind of comes from that. Overall, it's Loki. I don't think I need to go into too much detail, but yeah, a very fun character overall. Hercules, aka another Marvel character who's already based off of a mythology. This time it's already not Norse mythology. But Hercules in the Marvel Universe has always been kind of... he's not necessarily a bad guy, but he is very messy for a while. He kind of does a lot of stupid things, he'd get drunk, and overall he kind of causes problems at times. But right now he's very much cleaned up his act. He's a lot more... he isn't as stupid as he was in the past. And he's bisexual. I don't remember when this was confirmed, but yeah. Also in another universe, I'm just gonna state this, another universe, so not the main continuity, he ends up dating Wolverine. Well, like, it's a very strange coupling, especially since there's a lot of our characters, but also very fun. But that's all in a different universe, not the main universe. Overall, Hercules is a very fun character and has been on many teams. He's been an Avenger, he's even been a Guardian of the Galaxy. He has also been a villain in the past, with him fighting Thor, though he has also been a friend to Thor and has now helped him on many occasions. Renee Montagna, aka The Question. Originally with her being a detective in Gotham to later become the second Question and take up the mantle. For those who do not know who the Question is, the Question's like Batman, with him being very much a detective-based hero, but he is very much more detective-based than Batman is a lot of the time. But the Question also is a very strange person. He believes in a lot of superstitious stuff and slight conspiracy things. Now, this isn't to say Renee Montagna also thinks like that, as there is two Questions, with her being the second one. She was technically originally a Batman animated series character, though she wasn't the Question in that, and she was just a police officer who'd occasionally appear in the show. She was later on added as a character in the GCPD, for aka Gotham's police, and Ottie later on became the Question as her character got more development. She also dated Batwoman, aka Kate Kane, a character I talked about in the last LGBTQ video, but they're not together anymore. It's kind of an entire situation. It's talked about in a recent comic she was in, what was called All Along the Watchtower. Either way, Renee Montoya is a very good character and a very good Question. I'd very much like to see her get adapted into live action as the Question. She was adapted in the Harley Quinn film with the Birds of Prey, but wasn't exactly the best adaptation, and she wasn't the Question in it. Iceman. Iceman's a very well-known X-Men character. He was one of the first members of the original team, but later on in the comics he was confirmed to be gay. Now, this was probably one of the more controversial decisions. Personally, some people didn't care, I didn't care. It was a lot more interesting to see what they do with it. But basically what happened was a younger version of Bobby and the other X-Men were teleported to present day because of complicated time travel reasons I won't get into. But at some point, Jean Grey, a young Jean Grey, looks into Bobby's mind and basically says that he's gay. People very much find the way they did it a bit controversial. I know some people think they could have done it in a better way. It's very much has become a joke in the X-Men community with how they did it, especially with Jean Grey reading his mind. But either way, he's been confirmed gay for a long while now, at least. Now, this idea of him being gay kind of started when certain writers started hinting at the idea in other comics. Now, this wasn't done originally. This was never originally planned by Stan Lee or Jack Kirby, though later on other writers began hinting at the idea. Also, a lot of people agree it would explain certain aspects of his character, such as Bobby in the past didn't exactly treat women right. He kinda had to always be flirtatious and showing off, and he very much wasn't a fan of Jean Grey in the past because their characters would want to get with her. And basically, with the reveal that he was gay, it was very much explained that was very much him having internalized homophobia. It's also why he was closeted for so many years. Now, obviously, because it was a younger version of Iceman who came to terms with this, he eventually confronted his modern self. And yeah, it was an entire conversation, but eventually modern Iceman came to terms with who he is, and at the moment he is very much open about his sexuality. Overall, Iceman's a very well-known X-Men character and has been in comics for years. He's also very much a very powerful character, something a lot of people don't know. He can do a lot with his mutant ability, but yeah, overall a very cool character. I didn't intend for that to be a joke, but yeah. Jonathan Kent, aka Superman's son. Now, he's been confirmed to be bi for a while now, but basically when it first happened, it was kind of a huge thing. People got angry, but for very silly reasons, because news articles being news articles, they put out a lot of misinfo saying Superman was revealed to be bisexual. Now, this happened because Jonathan Kent doesn't technically have a superhero title, with him going as Superman for a while. Now, this is because of my reasons, but because of that, many people thought it meant Clark Kent was revealed to be bisexual, not his son. Either way, I couldn't care less. But yeah, it caused a lot of problems and people were being awful. Either way, Jonathan Kent is a very good character. Jonathan Kent, like his father, because of his father already being Superman, he has Superman's abilities. Like his father, he is very much that hopeful person who's wanting to do good in the world. The only problem is having Superman as your father definitely causes a lot of attention to be thrown at you. At the moment, like Dreamer, he is also a part of the Secret Six team. Like I said, that comic's very good, and I'm very much interested to see what their plan is for Jonathan in the future, because they're very much playing into that idea that people only see him as the son of Superman. Now, there is also another kind of controversial decision with Jonathan Kent. I didn't really want to go into it, but I feel like I should just discuss it. Jonathan Kent got aged up, kind of, because of comic booky reasons. Now, this was a very controversial move, because in the past he was very much a younger kid who was friends with Damian Wayne, but because of him being aged up, Damian still stayed a kid and he was like a teen, So it didn't exactly work. Teen, I mean by teenager. So a lot of people have found that to be a very controversial decision. I don't want to go into it too much. I just felt like I should say if you're going to look into the character. Overall, Joffin is a very good character. I'm very much interested to see where DC takes him. I do worry he's a bit held back because he doesn't have a superhero name, because he can't really go by Superman. Personally, I think he can, but with companies like this, they worry people get confused. You know, there's been multiple people who have went under the name Flash, and multiple people who are technically Green Lantern. But yeah. Koi Boy. What I understand is a very strange name for a character. Also, you've probably never heard of him. Unless you've played maybe Lego games. But Koi Boy is a character who was a supporting hero in Squirrel Girl comics. And one of the scenes you see that he's wearing a binder, I believe what they're called. And basically this was a way to slightly nod to the fact that he is trans, and later on it was confirmed by a co-creator. Like Squirrel Girl, his entire kind of theme is around aquatic life, and most of his powers are aquatic based, so breathing underwater, communicating with fish, and so on. I'm going to try and be quick with this because I didn't expect this video to be so long. But Koi Boy, very fun character, part of Squirrel Girl's kind of comic series. Should check him out because he's very fun, and I kind of really like how simplistic his design is. Anyway, thank you for watching. I did this as this part 2 because last video did really well for what it is. If people like this one, I'll probably do another one. And if you have any other ideas of videos like this where I just list off characters based off of certain aspects of them, then comment down below. It would actually help make my stuff more varied, as the main stuff I do on Talking Comics is mostly just suggest comics to check out. What I like doing, I very much like telling people to go check out and read comics. But yeah, like I said, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, you can like it. But yeah, that's all, and goodbye.